Does See That measure up to Dash? Personally, no, it does not, and I think that's what makes it so remarkable. I'm being very genuine when I say that FE304 Break is the definitive K-pop album out of the 4th generation in a lot of ways, chiefly for how much artistic integrity it has afforded NMIXX and how effective it was at solidifying their presence in the industry. I've already talked about this, but as far as the project that was going to come after FE304 Break, it was always going to be an uphill battle. I didn't have a lot of expectations because I really did feel like at the time that NMIXX could and can go anywhere at this point, but FE304 Stick Out is not a likely next step. As far as structure and instrumentation goes, the title track See That feels a lot like a more mellow and sinister version of Dash. All of the components are there, just this time with a much more brooding intention to them. See That doesn't jump out at you like Dash does. It lures you in as the listener to ask the ultimate question, do you see that? Narratively, this song is hard to understand without having watched the Outsider Club story film. You're presented with 2 passages at the beginning and end of the film that outline the meaning of Stick Out. Past Dash, NMIXX have supposedly assumed their true identity, and now they turn to the subject of the story, presumably us as listeners, asking us to do the same, to stick out in society. See That is all around niche, kind of hard to understand, and importantly, doesn't really lend itself to wanting to be understood, as it seems. I had a really hard time understanding what was going on when I first listened to this song, and now, almost a month after its release, I think I have a solid enough idea about what or how I feel about it in retrospect. Funny enough, it was actually the recent Extraordinary Heroes release that helped bridge my understanding about NMIXX. JYP Entertainment as of recently seem like they are really branching out beyond the most popular trends in music and going their own way to develop their groups with more artistic depth and integrity. From Day 6 to NMIXX to Extraordinary Heroes this year, there's a lot more substance to JYP releases than what we got in the past 3 to 4 years. And it seems like NMIXX specifically is going to go down a path conceptually that is similar to what we see out of Red Velvet. Dash as a song worked incredibly well for them, and while they continue the atmosphere for the FE304 concept, they don't really concede to Dash's positive reception. That is what reminds me so much of Red Velvet and what they've been going through in terms of concept. They could have easily rode the sound wave of Psycho and explored different avenues within that soundscape, but despite how much people call for, quote, another Psycho, Red Velvet isn't relinquishing their artistic direction. In a very similar way, NMIXX could have easily stuck with the Love Me Like This and Rollercoaster Sound, 2 singles that were so well received and their highest charting releases in Korea to this day, but Dash went in a completely different direction. They didn't concede their artistic integrity just because they stumbled upon a sound that was really well received. Their commitment to exploring new sounds and styles adds a lot of substance to their releases, and that's not even to mention the developing story narrative with each album release. I think NMIXX's hidden superpower going forward is going to be the conceptual depth that is forged into each release. It's paying off really well right now as it is, but I can absolutely see it appreciating over time in the same way that Red Velvet was appreciated over time. Not everybody got it at first. Not many groups concept switch as drastically as what NMIXX is shaping out to be doing. Of course, and again, the most famous example of this is Red Velvet, and I personally believe the reason why their concept switching is so well loved to this day is because of Red Velvet's consistent commitment to the music. If Red Velvet switches to a bubblegum pop sound, it is believable because they fully commit to it. Their dedication to portraying the concept of the music they're releasing is what adds depth and substance to each release. NMIXX has proven time and time again that they have the talent to be able to do the same, and I think after listening to it and sitting with it for a month, the Stick Out album in particular is doing a lot of necessary work setting them up for the multi-dimensional genre switching narrative that is a part of their story and concept. I wonder if the FE304 series ends here, or if it concludes with another FE304 installment maybe being in the form of their first full album. There's a lot to think about, but again, that provides substance. There's something to think about with NMIXX's music, identity, and releases, which is so invaluable in the current generation of K-pop. It's what a lot of K-pop stans seem to be looking for, and NMIXX certainly now has it. As it stands right now, I would not be surprised if NMIXX either continues the FE304 series with their next release, or switches up to do something completely different, like bubblegum pop. It's the NMIXX change-up concept playing out in real life as a part of their artistic integrity. They're not always going to be or do the same thing or present it from the same perspective, which I am really coming to appreciate about NMIXX the most. The variety when looking at their discography in retrospect is already really, really great. So yeah, things are really looking up for us in Mixtopia as it stands right now. I think my favorite song from this album is Love is Lonely, which after listening to the album for the first time, I did not think that that was going to be my favorite of all of the songs, but here we are. Also, Red Light Sign But We Go, like the whole album is really, really great. Very excellent music all around, but I think those are all of my notes. I think that's all from me. Thank you for watching this if you did, and definitely let me know what you think about this album as we're approaching almost a month since its release now. Have your thoughts about it changed over time? Have you grown accustomed to it with time, or maybe the opposite, and things like that? Yeah, thanks again for watching. Subscribe if you want to, and I will see you next time.